My name is Dick Whalen, and I'm the unofficial historian for the town of Rotterdam. I just took it upon myself to do it. I used to be the town historian for the whole town of Rotterdam, but I don't do that anymore. I went around taking a lot of pictures of myself by myself of the old Erie Canal. Beside the Erie Canal, I've taken pictures of the railroads. I used to work on a railroad for a while. I have lots of pictures of Hoffman's and Pattersonville also. So I didn't stick to my own area. I have quite a bit of 8.5 by 11 pictures that I haven't put in big books like this in the basement that I'm working on now. And a lot of that information or pictures were destroyed in the flood, which inundated the whole basement, as well as 3 or 4 foot of the first floor.
After the flooding happened, I had received an email from one of our trustees that said that Dick Whalen, the former Rotterdam town historian, that his home had been flooded and that his collection of historical materials had been lost, completely destroyed. And I was thinking, maybe there's something that we can do to salvage it.
When the floodwater receded,
yeah, they went in
and they took stuff out of refrigerators. I had old refrigerators that probably saved a lot of it.
So no one had contact information for Dick. The phone number that we had obviously was his home phone. He'd been forced out of his home from the flooding. Their basement, garage, and 4 feet of the first floor of their residence were completely submerged in water. The telephone was no longer in operation. So we didn't really find a way to get a hold of him immediately. But when we had some clearance from the Rotterdam Junction Fire Department, this ended up being about a week after the flooding, we actually went down there and we met his son-in-law on the property who was working on kind of clearing things out. We put the materials into frozen storage as quickly as we could to prevent mold from damaging the materials and to prevent further deterioration of the materials. Because if you have things like photographs, if they get wet, at first, they can kind of be okay, but the longer they sit in water, the more the chance that you have that the emulsion will just totally lift off the photograph. And once the emulsion comes off, that's it. You can't recover any photograph after that. So we put the materials in frozen storage. Then after that, I went through and systematically took out, I'd have 2 of these thick binder would be maybe about this thick. Take out a couple binders of materials, let them thaw overnight, and then we had a work area that was completely it wasn't connected via air to any other building, so that was really good as a work area because we don't want anything contaminating the rest of the building or possibly making people sick. So it was a self-contained area, and I would just basically go through and lay things to dry out for 72 hours. And so that was a very slow process that took several months to go through. So as you can see, what we did here is I noted what the topic was for this particular binder, which was Rotterdam Politics and Government. These are a lot of the photos that John Papp, who was Rotterdam's town historian for a time, put together. And you can see the kind of photos that are here. What's in here is mostly, I think, 50s through 80s. And a lot of the photographs survived remarkably well. With this one, you can see places where the emulsion did start to come off of the photographs. But most of them are actually in pretty good shape, and there were very, very few photos that the emulsion had lifted off so badly that we couldn't get an image. There were a few, but luckily they were pretty few and far between.
Well, it means a lot to me because I'm the one that took those pictures, and I do have a lot of them, but I salvaged them somehow.
And this is documentation of Rotterdam, politics that we don't have in our library. So to be able to capture some of this and to be able to make it available to researchers is really great, because I don't know where else some of these materials would be found.